Welcome back, everyone, to the Overtime Takes podcast. It's been a few weeks with holidays and all the stuff we've got going on, but we're back, and it's Wild Card Weekend. This week, we're going to recap a little bit of what we've missed, and we're going to give you some games, and we're going to give you our predictions for the playoffs. So what have we missed so far? What's going on into the playoffs, Anthony?
Well, last week was big, right? A lot of AFC shakedown stuff, right? The NFC, nothing changed that much, but in the AFC, we saw the Bills beat the Dolphins on Sunday Night Football. Rough game for Miami. I think they should have won, but Buffalo ultimately wound up victorious. And another huge game was Jacksonville losing to Tennessee, which I saw coming. Tennessee was pissed off.
Yeah.
You saw that Vrabel interview.
And Henry's
he hates
last
losing.
game.
Henry's last game. Tannehill's last game, too.
Yeah.
They both went off.
Vrabel's last game.
Yeah, which is ridiculous, but that's beside the fact.
Mm-hmm.
And that Tennessee victory helped clinch the Bills, which meant if they lost on Sunday night, it wouldn't have mattered. They still would have made the playoffs.
Yeah.
And the Steelers, who were watching at home, like me, I was very, very happy when Tennessee won, and that's what happened in the AFC.
Yeah, I think that the best team to miss the playoffs is Seattle, because I know as a Cowboys fan, we were looking at who we were going to play in the 7th seed. It ended up being the Packers, but Seattle ended up missing the playoffs with a loss, and I think even if they won, they wouldn't have made it, right?
Yeah, well, if Green Bay won, Green Bay had to lose.
Yeah. So they lost, and they gave Dallas one run for their money in the regular season, even in Dallas. So I know. And then you hear the news with Pete Carroll.
That was like 30 minutes ago. I was shocked when I heard that.
Yeah.
That was like
so
ridiculous.
Changes to come in Seattle definitely as well. But and then a couple weeks back we had the fantasy championship.
That was BS.
Would have loved to have a show for that one, because we were both in 2 leagues together, me and Zaiden, and we were in our respective championships. One's a solo league and the other's a duo league. My partner is not here, and these two are partners with each other.
Yeah.
And and my partner.
No, let the loser explain it.
Yeah.
The winner is not going to give it justice. So in the one league, I was alone. Tyreek's out. That was my entire team. Easy loss.
Yeah.
And then I was with Zaiden. We were just running through the playoffs. We didn't score less than 140 any week, right?
We didn't score less than 150 since week 13.
Yeah. And we get into this championship. CD, 40? He
40 on Saturday. We were watching the game together, me and Zaiden.
And our team was looking great. And then
AI just has a 4
Was it
o'clock.
Saturday night? It was Pacheco went off.
Yeah.
Ken Walker.
Ken
the
Walker
4
went
o'clock
off.
window
And
that
then
just-
New
Zaiden-
Year's Eve,
Zaiden
Sunday night, we're up by 20.
21.
21 or 22. He only has Jaden Reed left to play. Hasn't cracked 19 all year. Puts up 26.
In the first
Me and
half,
Zaiden were sitting next to each other on the couch. After he got that second touchdown,
as I
I embraced
running
him in
around
a
the
hug,
house.
and we didn't get up for like
A while.
5-10 minutes.
A while.
Yeah.
It was heartbreaking.
But I'm the back-to-back champion in our solo league. So for the 3 guys up here, hope you guys have been listening to us all year, because we've been pretty successful and we had a great time. But that's
now
beside the point,
time.
and it is playoff time. No more fantasy, and we're just going to lock
Thank
in
God.
on the teams that we got. And we're going to start right off with Eagles, Buccaneers, 4 versus 5 seed. Chase, tell us about it.
All right, so got Bucks as the 4 seed, Eagles as the 5 seed, going into Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, the past couple years, they've had home playoff games. Really doesn't do much, but I think they've lost both of them.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you're right, because when they were the 5 seed when they won the
They
Super
lost
Bowl.
to the Eagles 2 years
Yeah,
ago,
you're right.
and then the Cowboys last year.
Yeah, they're
And
looking to rebound.
Listen, the Eagles players, they want this. They're saying, look, you go into the playoffs, 0-0. That's your record in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think that's going to be
But
big for them.
there is your team trend doesn't just all of a sudden flip around. We know the Eagles are the better football team.
100%.
They have better players at almost every position. But I am taking the Buccaneers to win this one.
Wow.
I think Baker Mayfield is going to bake. I think he's going to turn up. He really hasn't been put in a huge position like this with the guys around him and what he's doing in Tampa Bay. Perfect passer rating in Lambeau. Like, this year, he has really, it's 1 year, so you can't really say, but I think he's turned his career around.
Yeah, he's shown he could be a starter for sure.
A good quarterback this year.
It's a great story, honestly.
And the Eagles have just been on such a slippery slope. Losing week 18 was the Cardinals, right? Or was that week 17?
Last week
17 was the
Giants.
Cardinals, week 18 was the Giants.
Those are the
Losing
two
both of
crap
those,
teams.
Hurts breaking his finger.
Yeah,
This
whatever
team
that
has
was.
just not been a good football team.
Yeah.
And that's why I think the Buccaneers, boom, right there, you see Rachaad White. I think him and Baker Mayfield will win this one.
Yeah, I think when you talk about like the 0-0, I think that the fact that they can't mess up again. Like if you lost to the Cardinals, you're still making the playoffs. If you lost to the Giants, you're still making the playoffs. It makes your situation worse, but I think that they're going to be so motivated to just beat down this team. They're going to rely on the run. They're going to use Hurts' legs more than they have all season. They've really just, with his knee injury and with the fact that it's regular season, they haven't been using his legs as much as prior seasons. And I think that they're going to show that they're still not back to where they were, but I think they're going to barely escape with the win.
Yeah,
and we'll talk about that later.
That is the one thing that's iffy because they don't have to play great to beat a Buccaneers team.
Yes.
Buccaneers have to play great to win. If both of them, if it's a mid-off, it's Eagles all the way.
Yeah.
But I think the Buccaneers will pull through.
Yeah. Real quick, before you go into your next game, playoffs in all sports, baseball more than football, the hot team makes it further, and the Eagles are ice cold. Tampa's not that hot either. They lost 20-0 or 20-6, against New Orleans.
And they had a bad game against Carolina. In a win and in.
Their defense was unreal. 0 points. Granted, it's the Carolina Panthers, 2-14.
Yeah.
But 9-0 against the Bucs. They're not that hot, but honestly, this game is going to be neck and neck with two
I think so.
ice cold teams.
I think Mike Evans is going to have a great. It's like kind of the last push of his relevant part of his career, and he's gonna. I think he's gonna have a couple touchdowns.
Yeah.
And now,
Your next game.
the nervous game for you. Take it away.
I could say it's nervous. I'm not a fan to anytime a hard game immediately give up like this guy next to me. I've never heard of a game where AI has said the Steelers are really gonna win. But
this week it's an exception.
Dropping from the 2 to the 6. We've lost a lot of games in the last 5, but granted, they're all against Super Bowl caliber teams. We
Good test for them.
We had the hardest schedule ending the season at anybody in the NFL, and if we were coming into this game healthy, I would say we had a solid chance to win. I'd put it around 50%. But the people who could be out, Waddle, Mostert, Xavier and Howard, they're planning to play without him. But then you have the auto outs. You have Van Ginkel. You have Jerome Baker. You have, who am I forgetting?
Well, those two are huge. They were both last.
Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb.
Yeah, even the guys
without
that they knew
those guys,
they would have
our
out.
defense is just Eli Apple right there. He stepped up in a big way. But I just think going into Arrowhead in these frigid temperatures, maybe this week some videos will surface on the internet of Mike McDaniel in his "I wish it were colder" shirt.
Yeah.
But you saw the Miami Dolphins last year. I think they're pretty similar to the team this year in terms of what has been going on. We went into Buffalo, into a cold playoff game with no Tua, the biggest injury on the field, and we put up a fight.
Yes.
We played like dogs, and we lost by 3 with Skylar frickin' Thompson in at
That was a
quarterback.
2-7 game, right?
2 seed versus 7 seed.
The what?
2 seed versus 7 seed.
Yeah, we were the last seed.
Yeah, that was Bills.
So I'm not counting us out, but I do have the Chiefs moving on by a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I think really the weather might be positive for the Dolphins because
It's bad for both teams.
baby.
When you look at it, like what was Mostert playing? I forgot what.
I don't know.
Okay, so let's say.
But I have faith in A-Chain. He's been a dog.
Let's say Mostert and A-Chain, they're both ready and they're both playing. Like when you look at the two running backs, Mostert and A-Chain versus Pacheco, the Dolphins do have the advantage in the most important aspect of a cold game, just being able to pound the run. And they did that against the Bills.
And even with these injuries, we still got the big boys up front. We got Wilkins and Sealer.
On both sides, the big boys are
playing
relatively
great.
healthy.
Our run defense has been great, I think. Yeah, but I still have the Chiefs moving on. unfortunately.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty close.
And I have to get Peacock to watch this game.
That's the worst.
when
NFL, why?
when
It's
why?
because they
we
want
know why.
to make the Swifties
They want
pay
viewership. They
to
want
watch
people to pay
Kelsey.
money, but like, why? It's the playoffs.
Yeah.
Have it on national television.
I will say who
Roger Goodell is
who I think is
greedy.
gonna win a little bit later
Roger
because I
Goodell, I hope
think
you see this.
it's gonna be interesting who I have. So Anthony, going into your first game.
Who have the Dolphins?
So I'm just gonna go and take your game and just to connect to mine. I was sitting on my couch rooting so hard for Miami. Because,
every time you do that, we lose. By the way,
because I knew the Steelers had such a better chance against Kansas City. I as soon as the Titans game ended, I looked at my phone. I looked at the weather. I saw 0 degrees and I didn't care.
Yeah.
The Steelers can beat the Chiefs, and I firmly believe that.
I
don't think they can beat the Bills, but I
Yes,
have
they can.
written down. I have a lot to say on this game because I mean I was so happy when Steelers got in. They were 7-7. They looked like they had no shot, and they bring in Mason Rudolph, and
they didn't bring him in. He was
not bring in, but they benched
just
Mitch Trubisky,
ass.
who that was a terrible
And
experiment.
they made the tough decision to keep benching Pickett.
Yeah,
who was
and
their starter.
I think it was the right choice, but
100%.
we'll
so
see.
Far.
So, my keys to the Steelers' victory. The Steelers' last playoff game, they went to Kansas City. And this was after they somehow got in after Jacksonville beating the Colts. Ironically, Jacksonville had to lose this week, and the Steelers got in. They got blown out in Kansas City. Much better Chiefs team, but they got blown out.
Was that with Big Ben?
Yes.
That was their last playoff game?
That was their last playoff game. It
They
was
got
2 years
killed.
ago.
I remember
It was
watching
2 years
it.
ago. It was a 7-2. The Steelers were the 7th seed. They're familiar with the 7th seed, right?
That's a nice pick too.
What I think about this game, right? If you're the Steelers, right? I'm talking about before the game even starts, the coin toss. This is how important. This is how nothing can go wrong, right? Buffalo, if they win the toss, they're kicking off, right? I mean, they know the Steelers stink on offense. If the Steelers get the ball, I want them to receive and go down in the field.
You gotta
pound the
give
rock.
one
A
punch in the
7-minute,
mouth.
30-second drive, 13 plays, and get in the end zone.
And
Najee has to be hot.
They've got
Najee has to be hot.
They need to use their running backs, both of them. They have
Yeah.
two, I think they're pretty good. Najee Harris and Jalen Warren, right? They need to use them both, and it can't just be Najee. Against Baltimore, it was just Najee. Warren was having fumbling problems. Fumbled the ball twice, only lost one, right?
It's gotta be both,
it can't be Najee 100 yards, Jalen Warren 20. It's got to be, they got to keep their legs fresh. It's going to be cold, right? They need to both play evenly so that they just keep staying fresh and that they can keep going to them. Have a few plays with two running backs in, confuse the defense, right?
And when they need it, that back shoulder to Pickens down the field is going to need to be hitting a couple times.
Pickens had no targets against the Ravens. He's going to need to come around, right?
Yeah.
They need Josh Allen's 2 turnovers against the Dolphins were horrible, right? The throw to Eli Apple, he was under pressure. He made a bad decision. If he threw it to the right, Davis is a touchdown. Miscommunication. And then the throw on the 4th down, he just lofted it up in triple coverage. Steelers need at least 2 turnovers. They need it, right?
I agree completely.
And honestly, it's honestly dependent on Josh Allen having a Josh Allen type game. Like he'll probably have 300 yards. He needs to make some dumb mistakes, where he's trying to do too much, rolling around too much, fumbles the ball, throws a bad pick, right? Another big thing.
I think that's where your first score comes in. Because if they go in, he has 2 solid drives, they get a touchdown, a field goal, all of a sudden it's 10-0. He's not going to make those dumb mistakes.
I know.
Yeah.
The Steelers need to do their work early, right? They can't have any mistakes. There's no room for error, right? They need a big special teams play. I mean, they got their ace specialist, Miles Killebrew. I'm sure you guys have no idea who that is. He's blocked 5 punts since he got here 2 years ago, and he's single-handedly won them the Ravens game this year, I believe. Turned the entire course of the game. They need to play from him or some kind of return, something to get Buffalo oh crap, this team, they came to play, right? I have the Bills winning, and I honestly think you say I'm negative about this game because, I mean, it's Buffalo. They're hot. That's what I'm saying. Buffalo, they've won 5 straight. When you get in the playoffs and you're hot, you usually win, right? When they played the Patriots a few years ago, they didn't punt. They scored every drive, right? I think it could be like a 38-10 game. But honestly, like I said, the Steelers need to go down the ball, go down, get the ball, and score first. And then maybe it'll be a close game. I'm excited, but
it just sucks they have no room for error.
They can't any turnover and it's over.
Like if the Steelers win, it's going to be a close win. They win by a field goal. They win by like 6 points.
Another thing, 30 mile an hour wind conditions. That's
perfect for them.
That's all Najee Harris and Joe
So
Warren.
I think that the key takeaway that I don't think that you named is Josh Allen's running.
I also forgot to name that and the obvious thing, there's no TJ Watt. And when there's no TJ Watt,
that sucks.
They double Alex Highsmith because obviously he's the other guy.
Yeah.
So if you guys have even heard of these players, or you've heard of Marcus Golden, I'm sure he's been in the league a while. He's the other guy. And 4th round rookie out of Wisconsin, Nick Herbig, shocking, Wisconsin edge, TJ Watt from Wisconsin. He had a huge play against Seattle to actually win them the game, forced a fumble against Geno. They're going to need those two guys to step up. And then if they win, somehow they go to Baltimore, and they've beaten Baltimore twice this year. So
yeah, I mean, I think
who knows? But
even if you say you need a perfect game, I actually don't think you do. I think Josh Allen, he should have lost the game for the Bills in Miami.
I agree.
Score should have been Miami 14, the Bills 7. He threw 1 touchdown pass. He got down the field and didn't make a mistake 1 time. Oh my bailout, that Van Ginkel bat that went right back to, I don't even know who caught that. Toe tap in the back of the end zone.
Trent Sherfield. It was
the
off his
Dolphins
head.
guy.
That was an absolute
and the punt return,
BS. And the punt return.
Any big special teams play for the Bills or Steelers turnover, and they're going to capitalize, right?
But, I mean, you look at 3 red zone trips. They won by 1 touchdown. 3 red zone trips should have been only 3 points, 2 picks, and the bat. And it turned into 7 for them.
But they missed that bomb touchdown to Diggs.
Though that's just Josh Allen, though.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
what I'm saying.
It is Josh Allen, but against the Steelers, he can make that throw, and it's just like you can't. Like
I'm just saying he wasn't good in the red zone. I don't think this. I think there's a bigger chance for the Steelers.
Yeah.
Than people.
And then I love this game, Rams Lions.
Yeah, I requested this game because I know you guys, you like LA, and I like LA too. I've been looking it up. All these predictions, everyone has LA winning. I have Detroit winning, and I'm so excited for this game. The NFL did the right job putting it on Sunday night. It's the game of the week, 100%. The storyline couldn't get better. These two guys were traded for each other and other picks. I don't know all the specifics, but it was a giant trade. It was in January of 21, I think. And that year, the Rams won the Super Bowl with Stafford. And the Lions, they stunk. They were like 2-13-1 or something like that. And now, it's at home, right? I'll talk about that too, right?
Jared Goff in a dome.
So this is the first playoff game the Lions have ever played in Ford Field. This is their first home playoff game. That place is going to be unbelievably loud, right? And it's going to be honestly, it's going to be emotional for Stafford. He brought that franchise from the ground up. They didn't win a playoff game with him, I know, but they were terrible. Like they had the 0-16 year with Orlovsky and all those other guys running out of the back of the end zone, right? I love Dan Campbell, right? People have been criticizing him for the game against you guys and some other stuff. I will say he should not have played all his guys last week. Laporta, I mean, that's awful.
Awful.
I saw a tweet yesterday. He has an outside chance to play, OC Ben Johnson said, right? Probably not going to play, but there's a chance. And
I don't think he's playing.
Neither do I. But if they win, I think he's going to play, right? Next game. You're going to see a lot of Jahmyr Gibbs, Montgomery a little bit too. I love their running backs, right? Brock Wright, tight end. It just stinks that they don't have their guy Laporta. But I really like the Lions' offense, and I mean their coordinators. They're getting interviews everywhere, and I think they're the better team, and they're gonna wind up playing in San Francisco next week.
Yeah, I mean I'll talk about it later when I go into my predictions, but I do think the Rams got this one, and I think that Stafford will just they've got so many guys. But you talk about Puka, Kyren, Kupp, Stafford, Aaron Donald. I think that they're just going to ride. They're hot. They haven't lost to many teams, and the last team that they lost to was the Ravens in a game that they easily could have won. And so for my next game, I've got the Texans versus the Browns, and what I've got written down for this game is experience versus the unknown. We know Joe Flacco can get it done. We've seen this Browns defense be amazing all year in every statistical category, and but we don't know anything about C.J. Stroud and what he's going to do. I mean, his only playoff record is what he did in college, so he could be amazing, he could be unbelievable, he could throw 4 touchdowns, and he could be all over the place, but he could fail and really struggle the whole game. And sadly, I think that's what's going to end up happening with this game. I think that with Tank Dell, it's a completely different story, but they don't have him. And I think something that you can look at is the game that they played against the Jets. CJ looked horrible against the Jets' amazing defense without Tank Dell in that game. And I think that it's going to be much of the same. And Joe Flacco is going to do a great job of not turning the ball over, not giving the Texans opportunities, and he's just going to feed guys that we love. Amari Cooper and Njoku, they're incredible. They're home. Or then they're not home, actually. But they're going to be in Houston, and I don't know how many fans. I mean, neither team really has.
They both got some fans. It's not like an LA.
Yeah. But I do think that the Texans are just going to overall struggle, and the Browns are going to take this one.
I agree.
And
I disagree.
You do?
We talk about it later.
Yeah, I think
your predictions.
You can talk about that during your predictions. And then the last game, 7.5 spread. I truly hope and don't think there's a lot to talk about this game. You've got 2 relatively hot offensive teams, 2 passing touchdown leading quarterbacks.
Is Christian Watson playing?
Christian Watson, I'm pretty sure he's playing.
Jaden Reed playing.
But the Packers, they really haven't beaten relevant teams. They have 2 relevant wins, like 2 even remotely relevant wins. They have the Chiefs and they have the Lions. They play the Lions twice. They split, okay, and they beat the Chiefs. Chiefs haven't looked great. They've had an amazing game. Pollard is coming back. He's been way better the second half of the season, and I just
horrible though. Like way better is like
way
better from the ground.
Well, I do have a statistic.
Okay, let me hear.
In the first 8 weeks, Pollard forced 2 missed tackles. That was 42nd in the league. Since week 9, he's forced the second most.
Salvan Ahmed probably had
and
more
he
than that.
and he really ran hard in this game that you see. Pollard had a great game. He had contested catches, and he really looked like he got his burst back, because you have to remember he was recovering from a gruesome injury that nobody talks about. I really think that Dallas just has too much firepower, and their defense is too good, and their pass rush is too good, and I think Dallas takes this game.
Yep.
But that's what we got for this slate of games, but we're going to move on to overall playoff predictions, and I think we can cue my graphic first.
Zaiden wouldn't let me see it.
I wouldn't let anybody see my
Oh
champion.
my God!
I told you.
Are you
I told you. It
serious?
was one of the 2.
Get out of this studio right now.
Starting at the bottom.
I told you.
I'm going to go quickly through this. The Eagles are much better at every way you can think about football than the Buccaneers. They're starting 0-0. They're going to win that game. Packers,
0-0.
I just talked about. Dallas, again, better QB, better offense, better everything. They win that. Rams, Stafford's coming back. He's not losing to the team that he created, basically. Their offensive fire, they have looked amazing when they're completely healthy, and they're completely healthy going into this game. And then the Niners get the bye. The Rams, they lost to the Niners in the only real game that they played, but I feel like this game, if you can just, I feel like they are the one team that can figure out how to play against. These are 2 similar styles, and they can figure out how to play against Brock Purdy, make him struggle. This is Purdy's first playoff game since getting injured against Philly, and I think that the Rams can, in an amazing game, can squeeze by. Eagles, the last time they played in Dallas, again, this is in Dallas. Dallas is 8-0. This will be now 9-0 this season at home. The Eagles have, last time they played Dallas at home, I was at that game. They got blown out. Dallas takes it.
But you're not going to be there this time.
I'm not going to be there this time. Could be different.
Could be different.
And then the Rams play Dallas at home. Dallas beat the Rams this season. And I don't think this team gets beat at home. So I do. I mean, call it bias, call it what you want. But if they play these teams, you can say I'm biased for having Dallas, but if you look at the teams they're playing in what I have, they will make the Super Bowl.
Completely agree. Yeah, it's not biased having the Rams.
And then for the top, for the AFC, if we could bring that graphic back up. Bills, much better than the Steelers. Don't really have to talk about that. Chiefs, if you look all the way down the line, I have them winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we see it.
Patrick Mahomes is the best playoff quarterback in the history of the NFL. I don't have the stats with me, but he's first in almost every category: touchdowns, touchdown interception, completion percentage.
He has more touchdowns in the playoffs than Brady?
No, per game. And
Looking a little
then I just talked about the Browns. I think they're going to win. And Browns versus Ravens. This is my favorite prediction. This is what really I think is going to put me over the top over everybody else. The Browns defense is so good, and Lamar is 1-3 in the playoffs, and he's looked bad in almost every single game. When you can shut down their run, Lamar really, really struggles. I think it's going to be that type of game. Low scoring, Browns win 20-13, and then you're putting Joe Flacco against. Oh, sorry, I didn't go Bills. Chiefs, Bills, classic. Mahomes is better. Chiefs.
The last 2 regular seasons they've played, the Bills have won.
What happened in the last playoff game?
Send
Thank you.
Buffalo.
Thank you. Bye. Then Browns, Chiefs.
The 13-second one?
Yes.
Is that what you're referring to?
It could happen again. And then
All right, well, I can't wait for my
Flacco versus Mahomes. Give me a break. Dak versus Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Give me a break. Chiefs
that a
win
close
it.
game, Super
Chiefs
Bowl?
win it, and Mahomes inches his. It's a close game, but Mahomes just has control the whole time.
miserable week for
He is so good, and everybody will realize when he gets a fresh slate. Think about it. A Chiefs bad year is the 3rd seed. If Dallas has a bad year, any other team, they have a bad year, out of the playoffs. They're the 3rd seed. They're incredible. Mahomes takes it.
They no.
I don't
Put my
disagree.
graphic
There's
up.
a lot
I'm
of-
going next. This is ridiculous. I mean, look, some people might laugh at mine too, but it's truly what I believe. We'll start at the top, work our way down. Ravens, 1 seed. They don't play anybody this week. Texans, at home, I'm not, again, adding too much emphasis to it. But like you said, without Tank Dell, Nico Collins played great. C.J. Stroud is a deep ball merchant. I think he is going to be. I don't think he's going to put a lot of pressure on himself this playoffs.
But there's going to be a
It's
lot
his
of pressure
first year.
on him.
I really don't think there will be. Rookie
Garrett.
quarterback, his first year. They don't expect. You
No,
don't
I'm
ever
saying,
draft
like,
a quarterback and
pass
say,
rush.
"Oh, we are making."
No, I'm saying like pass rush. He's going to be pressured all game long.
But he's going to be calm, cool, and collected. He's
All
going to
right.
move about the pockets. His hair is very nice, I think. He's going to be. He's just going to be throwing the ball on a frozen rope all over. I think they beat the Browns. Bills, Steelers, we've been over this. Chiefs, Dolphins, I've been over this. 49ers, again, they don't play anybody. Rams, I think they have a very hot offense. I think you talk about Stafford going back to the team he built. I honestly think that has absolutely no effect on him.
well,
the
he's not
team
going to
he
be
built.
thinking about that. But
But I think it's going to be the fact that you have Cooper Kupp, really hasn't made much of an impact this year, but he really has when you look at it. You have Kupp, Puka, and Kyron, who you have to guard. I think they beat the Lions just because of that. Cowboys over the Packers. Dak has been playing like him this year. Bucks been over that. Ravens, Texans. You can't put
Stroud
Stroud against the Ravens in Baltimore and expect him to win. I think that's going to be
a blowout.
I think, yeah,
That's
a blowout.
Yeah, that's a blowout.
Bills, like I said, the last times they play in the regular season, like
it ain't
2
the regular season.
Yeah, but see, this is where I differ. You say Mahomes is the best playoff quarterback.
Of all time.
Yeah, he was probably, I don't know the stats, he was probably one of the best regular season quarterbacks of all time.
Yeah.
And what did he do this year?
He got his team to the 3 seed.
He played like crap, though. He is playing bad football.
Is
and I
he?
think, yes.
Is he?
For him, yes, and not for.
His-
he's not playing Super Bowl.
His tight end might as well be my dad. That's how old he looks this season. And his receivers might as well be us 3. 1, 2, 3. Chase, you can play the slot. Anthony, you can be the 1, and then we can go play the Bills. And you know, it'd be close if my dad was at tight end and us 3 were at receiver. That's how good Mahomes is.
No. I think the Chiefs. I don't think Mahomes will pull it out of his. I think he'll barely beat the Dolphins, and that's why the Bills will beat him. 49ers, Rams. Should I even mention anything?
You don't have to.
They're gonna kick their ass, I think. Cowboys, Bucks. Seen it before last year. It's a no-brainer. And then Ravens, Bills. Like I said in the red zone close games, Bills haven't been able to get it done. So that's why I have the Ravens winning. 49ers, Cowboys. 49ers have tormented Dak Prescott and the Cowboys.
wow.
I think this year they get it done. I think Dak Prescott really shows out. I think you wear your unlucky Dak socks. I'll make you wear them.
Yeah.
And it'll actually switch for the 49ers. I think the Cowboys will win. And then Lamar versus Dak.
I can assure you that game would be. I will be turning my TV off at halftime. They just don't match up well. I could take it on for you. That run, Lamar will have 100, Gus Edwards will have 100, and Justice Hill will have 100, and we'll all be crying.
And I will crown Lamar Jackson Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP.
And MVP, because he's going to win that too.
I think the one team that could beat the Ravens in this entire bracket is the Steelers. That's how I'll be
it's not a
rooting for
stupid
them.
take. It really isn't. But yeah.
But yeah, I don't think the Steelers will get past the
Real
Bills.
quick, my predictions. I think if they've been up for split seconds, and you guys will like them once you see what I have the Cowboys doing. I'm just going to go AFC real quick. Browns over Texans. I think the Browns are more experienced, like Zaiden said. I like Joe Flacco. I love his story, and I think they're honestly dominant on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Right? Bills, Steelers have been over it. Steelers need to do a certain amount of things if they want a chance.
Yeah.
And if they don't, the Bills will win by 30. Chiefs, Dolphins. I haven't talked about this game yet. I'll go over it quick. Miami is cold, just like I said with
wish it were
with
colder.
the Eagles. They're not hot right now, and it is 0 degrees. If Waddle plays, it's different. I don't think he's playing. I don't know. Mahomes at home. Mahomes hasn't played a playoff game on the road, but that's beside the fact. They'll win that, right?
That's
Ravens,
interesting.
Browns. I honestly like your pick with the Browns, even though I have the Ravens winning. AFC North, it will be close. But I just look back to that game in the regular season. The Ravens defense was unreal. Kyle Hamilton had that unreal pick six,
I
right?
don't think I could see that.
Right? And we got Bills, Chiefs. You won't like this, obviously. And I have the Bills winning.
Yeah.
I think it's huge that it's in Buffalo because Mahomes hasn't played a playoff game on the road yet. I just said it, restating it. This would be his first road playoff game. I think Josh Allen is
Could be
unreal.
better.
I think he could have 100 rushing yards, and even if he has 2 picks, right?
I think
he
we're
could still-
underestimating the fact that the Chiefs' defense has been so good
It
this
has,
season.
yes.
If Mahomes' offense is clicking, no one's stopping them.
And that's
I
the
haven't
key
really
because
seen
it
them
hasn't
click
been
this
clicking
year.
yet.
We
They
got
haven't.
wrong
We haven't
Bills.
seen them click, and they're the 3rd seed.
And then Ravens and Bills. The Ravens are
the
so
3rd seed
good,
because they
but I
play
really think Josh Allen
bums.
is determined this year, and I really think they beat Baltimore in Baltimore and go to the Super Bowl. Now
Should
the
I
NFC
get this
real
shirt?
quick. Let's go.
You could
Eagles
just go
and Bucks.
divisional round, honestly.
Yeah, Eagles and Bucks. Eagles get the win. Cowboys, Packers. Just want to say that I think this game will be close. Cowboys win. Lions, Rams. I went over that,
Give me
right?
some love.
Niners, Eagles. Niners are better. Cowboys, Lions. They are pissed off after what happened last time. Yes, it would have been changed if they announced 68, not 70. They're pissed off. They're not a better team, but I think Dan Campbell wills them to a win somehow. I know you guys don't like that. You both have Dallas in the Super Bowl, right? Then Lions, Niners. Honestly, this probably wouldn't be that close of a game. The Lions don't match up well, and the Niners are the Niners. Then Bills and Niners in the Super Bowl. I think this is Josh Allen's year. They've won 5 straight. They're the hottest team in the league right now, and he is determined. I saw a clip of him and Stephon Diggs after they beat Miami, just going up to each other and whispering in each other's ear. They were mic'd, obviously. 4 more. We got 4 more.
Who whispered that?
Allen and Diggs into each other's ears. I know it's just a little cliche thing, but like.
Yeah.
They've been doing that for sitting
think,
outside watching the Chiefs parade. It hasn't changed anything.
I really think Buffalo has it this year.
Yeah, I think that they're one of the top teams for sure. And I think both of your guys' picks are interesting. I mean, obviously, I like mine too. But, luckily, we can talk about it all we want, but this week's the start of it, and we're going to see. So
Yep, we got 3 more
we
after
hope you
this.
we really
Or
hope you
4.
enjoyed this episode, and I hope that you disagreed and agreed with some of our takes, and we're all going to be watching Saturday and Sunday. So
And Monday.
Yes.
Yep.
So, and we'll see you next week.
Yep.
Thank you for watching.
Thank
Peace.
you. See you.
That was good.
That was